All your favorite NBA players are back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on the NBA stars this season. New customers bet just $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, plus score $300 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SDPN. That's code SDPN. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass, plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer. Lando Norris, big winner and big leader in the championship points race. Tim Hauraney. We've had the same guy leading this thing basically since spring.
Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, like pretty early. And Lando Norris is now ahead of Oscar Piastri after today's race in Mexico City. Man, hard to think about a more consequential Mexican Grand Prix in the last 4 or 5 years. I guess the last one would be Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen.
I would agree with what you're saying. If everyone can hear, like I'm at the airport right now, and Adam and
you're in it right now.
Adam and I are trying to do this, so yeah, I'm gonna have internet connections here in a minute. So yeah, my bad, everybody. Look, I think today Lando basically has been working at trying to be this dominant driver throughout this season, and I think today he obviously proved that. And I think a big reason for that, or a couple of things. One of them is that all these little things that we've talked about that he's personally been working on have started to help the focus. And then on top of all that, I think his style also suited the track conditions, and the way the McLaren actually is on this track here in Mexico. And the only reason I say that, Adam, is because we're at really high altitude, and like we had explained in our pre-race track feature, I mean, the cars get really light and floaty around this track. And if you don't have that confidence in the car, if you don't have that confidence in what you're doing, it's going to be a tough weekend for you. Clearly it was for Oscar Piastri, and obviously we'll get into him in a minute, but I think for Norris, it's going to be interesting to see how he handles the pressure of holding on to a championship lead. And I also think on top of all that, is he going to be the type of driver who succumbs to it, or is he going to be the type of driver that really revels in it? I mean, if you look at a driver like Lewis Hamilton, whenever he locked into a championship lead, he never let it go, and away he went. And there are a number of other type of championship winning drivers that were like that, Schumacher being one of them. Yeah, I think that for me is going to be interesting to follow over the next few races. Yeah, Adam, I thought he drove really well this weekend. Like, it was just a different side to Lando that I don't think I've seen yet. Like, he was totally dominant.
Yeah. Well, and then this is the thing, right? We know the skill's always been there, but the knock on him was, what is he in corner one? How come he can't get his starts right? Why is it that he can't hold a lead, or he can pass everybody else, but he can't get past Max? We knew the talent was there, Tim, but are we starting? The last 3 races have been really strong. Are we starting to kind of see it come to fruition?
Yeah, hard to say, right? Like, I think we'll learn more when we get to Brazil, like when it comes to Lando, because the inconsistency with him is what's really plagued him all season. Like, that's been one of the things that has really let him down in this championship. It wasn't the fact that he's not fast. Like, Lando's very fast, and he's very, very quick over one lap as well. It's the fact that can he limit the amount of mistakes that he makes? Because he is prone to getting in his own way sometimes. And
yes,
if he wants to be a world champion, if he wants to be a world champion, Adam, like, these next 4 races, he is going to have to be picture perfect if he wants to walk away with this drivers' championship title.
Well, I'm very, very, very curious to see the online reaction tomorrow morning, especially. I mean, this is a hell of a reverse. Lando entered the weekend trailing Oscar Piastri by 14 points, but has completely reversed that deficit. He won by over 30 seconds. And, Piastri, for his part, didn't have a great weekend. We talk a little bit about, listen, he was trying to catch up to, Oliver Bearman, and we'll talk about him too. But, like, what is going on with Oscar Piastri right now? It's not been good since Baku, maybe even before.
It's really gone south for him, hasn't it? Over the last, 4 races. I would date it all the way back to the, Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where, it was a nightmare of a weekend. I felt that he rebounded well for Singapore, but then, in Austin, things just went south. And they continue to go south here this weekend. I think big thing for Oscar is that, and this is from Andrea Stella, a lot of what he told us over the weekend, is the fact that he has a lot of issues when it comes to the car sliding. Right. And so when you get into the high-speed S section at this track here in Mexico, it's extremely fast. It's very fast. And the car does need to slide through there. But if you're not confident in the car moving around that much underneath you, especially in high-speed content, you're really going to struggle. And we saw that 5/10 off of Lando most of the time. That's a lot. That is a lot. So I think for Oscar, he works really well when the grip is extremely high, when the downforce is extremely high, like a track like Qatar, for example. Like, that would be a track where Piastri's skill sets really come to the forefront. I think also, Adam, on top of all that is the fact that, like, for Oscar to be improving on all the tracks that he's improved on this year, like, he's improved on pretty much all of them that he struggled at last year, but coming into these last few races, struggled in Austin. He struggled in Austin last year, struggled in Mexico big time today, struggled in Mexico last year and the year before that, especially in qualifying when you have to put the car on the limit. So if you're not qualifying the car high enough, in a race like this, you're really going to struggle. Granted, he did well to recover. Coming home, what was it, P5, limiting the damage as much as he could. I thought, the team had to make a couple of calls within the race to try and see if they could move him up through the bunch, like trying to get past Russell when he could, and just trying different things with the strategy. However, if the pace isn't there, you're just really making more work for yourself than you really have to.
Yeah, and I guess my thing is, Piastri's still pretty young. We forget that, right? Lando's had 3-4 more seasons than he has, as much as these are all young men.
That's a good point, Adam. That's a good point.
Getting to him?
I'm thinking, I think it is, because look, Andrea Stella all weekend, we were talking to him quite a bit about Oscar and how, things were going with him and why is he struggling and what's happening here. He did explain a few things, but he kept coming back to the point of him saying, hey, we all need to remember that this is just his 3rd year in Formula One. I took that as, hey, he's only in his 3rd year. He's a super talented driver. He's going to be incredible, but he's got a lot to learn still. That's what I took from that. And when he explains to you that, Oscar really struggles in that high-speed content where the car slides a lot, that just screams to me that this is something more that he needs to learn, needs to improve on. Granted, that takes a long time because you need a lot of confidence to trust the car.
Yep.
I think, Adam, that this is a high pressure situation that he is in at the moment. We have seen that the car is quick. McLaren believes that all the data that they have seen from Oscar's car leads them to believe that there is nothing wrong with the car. So you can rule out, having a chassis change, because sometimes drivers do request those things when they're struggling because they think it is something wrong with the car and not them. And further on top of that, you got Max Verstappen that's breathing down your neck, and you're trying to hold on to a championship lead, and you're trying to stop the bleeding with Max, and you're also trying to stop the bleeding with your teammate. All that stuff just kind of adds up, and you start thinking and overthinking and overdoing. And I think for Oscar, I think he needs a track where he needs a good reset. Maybe that's Brazil. We'll see. I mean, I think maybe for Brazil, for Oscar, might be a good track, but Vegas are going to struggle. That's going to be a tough race for that whole team. And I don't think you're going to see like peak Oscar until we get back to Qatar.
Wow. Tim, that's crazy.
But the reason I say that is because of that high speed, lots of grip type of corners and content, and that's what Qatar is. If you remember where Piastri got his first sprint race victory, it was in Qatar.
Yeah.
And that's a track where a lot of high speed content, but the maximum downforce on the car is very important at the same time. Loads of grip. If your car can produce that, then you're going to do pretty good, and that will give the driver confidence. So I think for Piastri, I mean, if he can't sort of right the ship in Brazil, I think Vegas is going to be a struggle, because they're going to struggle there regardless. The whole team believes it. And I don't think you're going to be quick again until you get to Qatar if you're Oscar Piastri.
Wow. I mean, that's just so unbelievable, Tim, to talk about. I can't believe we're hearing. It kind of tells you, don't trust the rumor mill in the middle of the season when somebody jumps in a newspaper and goes, oh, yeah, McLaren's already made the decision. Oscar's their guy. Like, I can't tell you how many headlines I read like that this summer. And, somewhat believable, because you think he was that far ahead. But he's behind now, and Max Verstappen is not too far behind. He was on an alt strategy, and he was able to grab third place, which is still pretty amazing. That only puts him 36 points behind Norris, and obviously with the late virtual safety car, it kind of neutralized everything that he was going to go through. But let's talk about Max's weekend and Max's race, because going into this race, Tim, he didn't feel really good about it. Like, you could tell he was feeling like, I don't know how well this is going to go, but we'll see.
Yeah, it was. It was the type of weekend where a lot of us coming in thought that the Red Bull could be quite competitive here.
Yeah.
But then when we saw Max's one lap pace on Friday, which was very strong, but his race runs were his long run pace, I really struggled compared to like the likes of Norris. When I was matching up the long run pace from Max and Lando after FP2, I was actually like blown away. Like, wow, this is going to be a really hard weekend for Verstappen if they can't figure out a way of turning the car around.
Yeah.
I spoke with Max quite a bit this weekend, and it wasn't he wasn't his normal, like, when things aren't going well and the car doesn't feel well, it gets very frustrated.
Yeah.
And I noticed with him this weekend that as the car sort of got worse in terms of the long run pace, you didn't really hear him lash out, get angry, things of that nature. So for me, that tells me that team harmony, I think, is working.
Yeah.
So whatever Laurent Mekies is doing or has done, I mean, I think that is working. But then on top of that, I think he appreciated the fact that the team really tried to turn the car around as best they could between Friday to Saturday. And I think they had to make some compromises to the car and sort of sacrifice that, extremely competitive one-lap pace to have a better long-run pace. And so you're giving up a little bit when you do that. And I think for Max this weekend, that was one of the things that, he understood that he had to sacrifice. And I think in this race on Sunday, the soft tire stint that he did, or the medium tire, soft tire stint he did at the end, That was incredible. Like
Yeah.
absolutely mind blowing how friggin' fast he was. Look, I've got. Here's how consistent Max was from lap 39 all the way through to lap 68.
Okay.
121. These are all 121s. Like 1 minute 21 seconds. So 0.284, 0.425, 0.447, 0.349, 0.348, 0.404, 0.291, 0.681, 0.263, etc., 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 all the way up to the VSC. That is insane consistency on a tire that, was a good race tire. Don't get me wrong, it was a good race tire.
Yeah.
However, it degrades really fast.
Yep.
And for him to sort of keep it right in that window where it wasn't going to degrade really fast, but he also wasn't going to get the maximum out of it, but he also knew it was going to be enough to catch Charles Leclerc.
Yep.
And just bang that in for like 30 minutes is, I would swear right now, but it is incredible, man. Absolutely incredible consistency. And if it wasn't for that virtual safety car, I mean, he was catching Charles Leclerc.
You're right.
Make no mistake about it. He was catching Charles Leclerc. And so I heard from the FIA about that VSC.
Yep.
And a big part of it obviously had to do with Carlos Sainz. So on lap 70, when Sainz had spun, the FIA told me that he'd spun and stopped in the runoff area on the outside of turn 14. His car came to a halt in an exposed position. The car subsequently began smoking and, excuse me, everyone, smoking, and race control received notifications of a fire, making it clear that marshal intervention would be required for recovery. As is standard procedure when marshals are deployed to recover a car, the race is neutralized. In this case, a virtual safety car was triggered until the car was moved to a safe location behind the barriers. The VSC ended as soon as the car was in protected position, and the race concluded under green flag conditions. So that's what the FIA had to say about the virtual safety car and why it came out, and where Carlos Sainz was parked up and what had happened to him. I asked Max about that VSC, Adam.
Yep.
And I asked him, hey, you would put in such a mega soft tire stint, and when that VSC got thrown, you were right behind Charles. After putting in all that work, were you frustrated when that VSC got thrown? And he literally, Adam, I thought he was going to be pissed, but he wasn't. He actually was like, look, he's like, I've gotten lucky with the safety car before in the past. He's like, I'm not upset about it. I understand. And you know what? Charles Leclerc's lucky.
Man, that's scary. That's a confident Max. That I don't know if I like that very much. Oh man. Oh, that's crazy. Now in between there, we have Oliver Bearman. Let's talk about his weekend and his race and how badly he needed this, Tim.
Well, I mean, the thing with Bearman, Adam, is he's been the last few races he's been really good. When Haas brought that big upgrade there to Austin, and Ollie didn't get the free practice one to run it. I think for me, I was like, this could be a hard couple races for him because he may have to relearn some things to understand this car a little bit better. But holy geez, he got used to this thing right away. Like, it really suited him, which is great for Bearman and the team. And now you see in Ocon as well. It's for Ocon, he's starting to get used to it as well. I think he just got a little screwed in qualifying. He had a bunch of dirty air, and that put him back. But if he had qualified a little higher, he probably would have scored some good points too. That being said, the race pace from the Haas and Bearman to extract it was very, very impressive. At the end of this one, he was talking to our friends over at Viaplay, and they had caught his dad and his family celebrating on camera just behind them when Ollie was in the media pen doing the interview with Viaplay, and Viaplay swung the camera around to catch it, and they caught it, and they brought it back to Ollie, and they're like, look, what does that mean to you? And Ollie just started crying, right? He's filled up with emotions. It's hard for him to see that in a way, and then I think for him to be a little more vulnerable was really nice to see.
Yeah.
The team celebrated like crazy afterwards. I saw some of that. And I think for Ollie moving forward, I mean, this is a good thing to show Ferrari, because Fred Vasseur is watching.
Yep.
He likes what he sees. Yeah, he likes what he sees. He likes what he sees, which is good. But for Bearman to put in these types of performances in a rookie season and to be able to really just outperform Esteban Ocon at him, I mean, that's really good for his career. Obviously, moving forward, we'll have to see what happens next year. But I digress. The Constructors' Championship is still a huge battle as Kimi Antonelli comes walking past me, signing autographs, heading towards his gate, and he's getting on the airplane. Okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, that's so crazy. Oh, that's great. That's great. Are you
He's
following
signing
him? Are you
autographs.
going on the same plane?
He's got his hoodie on. He's trying to avoid people. They didn't want people to see him, but that's actually really nice by him. He's literally signing everyone's autographs.
Oh, that's nice.
Or he's signing autographs for everyone. That's actually really nice of him. Yeah. All right. See you later, Kimmy. Good chat. Good chat. Where were we, Adam?
I can't even remember. I was like, dude, can you turn the camera around? I know that you probably can't.
No, we're in a very crowded airport right now.
Fair enough. Let's move on, because obviously we talked Ferrari, talked Bearman. Charles Leclerc had a really good day. Lewis Hamilton did not. Let's start with Charles. Another solid day under the radar. Ferrari car does not look bad, man. They're just not getting the headlines.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Adam. They're not. I think for Leclerc and in this weekend, I mean, it's just starting to show that they are making steps with this car and they're understanding it a little bit better. A big issue with their car, and what I've come to learn is not only the rear suspension, which is something that we've always talked about, but it has a lot to do with where they run the car, and on what types of tracks. And what is the temperature outside like? What is the surface of the track like? Is it bumpy? And then trying to figure out where to put the sweet spot of the car, and that's been a big issue for them. But it really does look like they're starting to turn things around a little bit for themselves, which is good to see. I mean, we want to see Ferrari in these battles. I think for Leclerc, he got a little lucky at the end, right? Like let's be honest, that VSC helped him big time. Max was coming for him, and I don't think there was anything Charles could have done about it. The set of mediums that the team sent him out on. I mean, it was tough. That was tough. That was tough for him to try and keep that tire alive, which shows that they need to try and make some improvements in terms of the tire deg that they do suffer from. But I think for Leclerc, not losing a position into turn one, well, I guess he kind of did, but getting it back and then giving it back and then basically hanging on for P2 for the rest of the race. I thought he did a pretty good job.
I think so too. Now, when we're talking about the directions of where Ferrari's going, based on what we're seeing, it seems like they should probably listen to Charles, huh?
I think so. I mean, when you take a look at what is next year's car going to be like, I mean, you have to wonder, is there going to be a power struggle between him and Lewis as to which direction they want that car to go in, first of all. I mean, Lewis did talk a lot about the DNA of the car this weekend, and one of the things he did mention that stood out to me when I was with him in the press conference was the fact that he's starting to understand the DNA of the car a lot more. I think that's obviously a good sign for Lewis. It's taken a while to learn it. But if some of this DNA is baked into next year's car, how is he going to be able to handle it? Is he going to be able to get a full grasp on it? Because I think, Lewis is the type of driver that, he needs to have a car that's built around him. Just does.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do next year, but it's working better for Charles. Now, Lewis did get the 10-second penalty after the fight with Verstappen around turn one. What did you think about that? Because obviously, first off, nice to see them going at it. Love a vintage Lewis v. Max. But beyond that, Tim, part of me wondered, I'm like, I know that we're race car drivers here. And by we, I mean not me. But it felt like maybe not the time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is that a fight he needs right now? I almost feel like it's asking Lewis Hamilton to be a little bit more conservative goes against his better judgment, I would think, and being a race car driver. But like that literally wrecked his race.
It definitely did. I mean, going off track there at turn 4, and then the rejoin, and then obviously he got that 10-second time penalty for it that he did end up serving. That's tough. That's a tough one to swallow. I was surprised they gave him something that harsh, considering there were other drivers who did go off. There are other drivers who went off and gained positions, and not a lot of ramifications happen in that respect. I mean, I guess the stewards must have saw something they didn't particularly like, I guess. However, that is a tricky scenario that Lewis was put in, because once you sort of hit that grass, man, it's it's tough. Like it's really tough. It's really tough. Like I thought that penalty was a little harsh. I enjoyed the wheel to wheel battling going down into turn 1 with Max. I enjoyed that. And I like good hard racing. So
I also like good hard racing, Tim. I'm into it. Now let's talk about the rest of the field here. Who impressed you today that's probably not going to get their flowers?
Oh, buddy, I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, Bearman.
Well, there was a lot.
I think Bearman was really, really impressive today. Mm-hmm. I thought I can't say enough good things about Ollie and Haas and the work that they have done to really, get the car back to where it was, because they had a nice start to the season, and then the car had a little dip in performance, but then it started to come back again. And I think that when we look back at Haas's 2025, I mean, this is a good starting point for them in terms of moving into 2026. I mean, they got that relationship with Toyota now. They also have their relationship with Ferrari at the same time.
They do.
And I think for Haas, I mean, it would be incredible for them to end this season on another high note, if they can get one, to give themselves some more confidence to head into the next season. I thought Gabriel Bortoleto was great as well. I loved his pass on Isaac Hajar to get that final points-paying position.
Man, that was good.
It was really good. Bortoleto, again, another one of those rookies that really, really impresses me. I thought, a good bounce back from him. Like, Austin was a tough weekend for Bortoleto. And coming into Mexico, I wasn't too sure how this was going to... How this racetrack was going to treat him. Again, high altitude. The car's really light, floaty, doesn't give you a lot of confidence. But for Bortoleto and a lot of the rookies as well, did a really great job. I was really impressed. That in terms of the drivers that impressed me, I would say those two in particular was the rookies that really stood out for me.
And then I want to look at this too. Yuki Tsunoda finishing on the outside, looking in, obviously a 3 seconds, 3-ish seconds, 2.5 seconds behind Bortoleto. With Max where he is, like Tim, a tough one.
Buddy, it wasn't good from Yuki. I went and saw Laurent Mekies at the end of this, and finishing P11 obviously is not great. I think for Mekies, in terms of that Red Bull seat for next year, they still haven't made a lot of decisions. He still sounds really really high on Yuki. Still really thinks that he's a good driver. Their decision on that seat's not going to come for a while. We're not going to hear anything until before probably Qatar, or around Qatar. Right. And even by then, like, who's to say he'll be out of the Red Bull family? I mean, I don't know. It's a really hard one to tell. It does look like Mekies would like to keep him. That's what I can get from some of his answers in the body language. But again, I mean, that's not all going to be up to Laurent Mekies to make that call. There's a lot of other, that Dr. Helmut Marko is going to be right in there trying to make the call on what to do with Yuki moving forward. But that's a tough weekend where I think, they really needed Yuki at some points. I mean, holding up Oscar Piastri, maybe a little bit more if he could have. Hard to. Now when I think about it, it was hard to hold Oscar back. I mean, hard charging. Yep. The cars are obviously better. The McLaren's a bit better to handle than the Red Bull is, especially when the tire deg kicks in. So, yeah, I don't know. Adam, it's a tough one for Yuki this weekend, I thought.
Well, and I just worry about his future, man. Like, I genuinely like Yuki Tsunoda, the personality. I think he's a very fast driver. I just think this car sucks for him. It's just. Well, if he had stayed in the car he started the season with, I think we're talking about him being elevated next year to Red Bull, and maybe that's a better fit.
Well, I don't really think he had a choice.
No,
I mean, obviously he wanted the Racing Bull seat or the Red Bull seat. He wanted to go up against Max, and he got that wish. It wasn't the right wish to want at the same time, and I think when he left that Racing Bull seat, considering the handling of that car, and then went to the Red Bull and saw the handling of that car, I mean, I think at that moment he was probably like, "What have I done?"
Right. Yeah. Well, oh boy. Listen, there's only. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's tough, right? Like, That's Formula One, man. That's Formula One.
Brutal sport. Now, I can't believe this, Tim, but we are merely 4 races from the end of the season. The next race will be November 9th, Brazilian Grand Prix. Then it's the 22nd in Vegas, and then the 30th in Qatar. And lastly, and I think we're going to have a race right to the finish in Abu Dhabi, December 7th. Tim, which of these ones are you going to be at? Where can we expect you to be? Worldwide traveling,
Tim. We'll be in Las Vegas, and hopefully, we'll see. Maybe Abu Dhabi. Not sure on Abu Dhabi yet, but Vegas for sure. I'll be there. And I was just trying to think if there's anything else that I'm leaving out of the show. I mean, I know we got questions, Adam, and.
Well, we've got an interview with Mr. Colton Herta that we just have to.
Pato O'Ward.
We're recording this at midnight, and I'm exhausted, and I think that's why I said that. So you're going to have to give me a break, and I have no reason to be exhausted. Tim was working all day, and he's fired up. I don't know, man. It's just you're at least sharp, man. I'm not sharp at all. I'm not sharp.
Yes, you are. You know you're sharp. You know you're sharp. Don't say that, Adam. Don't say that. Don't say
not
that.
Tonight. Not tonight. Pato O'Ward. But yeah, anything else from the race? I can't think of anything.
Do you want to throw to Pato and then we'll come back and do questions?
Sure.
All right.
Let's go to Pato O'Ward.
Pato, thanks so much for taking the time to do this with us. We appreciate it. So how did yesterday go? Practice one? Did you have fun?
Yes, of course I had fun. It was, always is a pleasure to jump into a Formula One car. Glad that we were able to get through our very detailed and extensive running program, completed everything that we needed to. So it's nice to feel useful in a weekend and knowing that you've done your part to see the cars striving for a 1-2.
I mean, obviously both of these guys fighting for the world championship and bringing yourself in and putting yourself into one of their cars.
Yeah.
Do you feel nervous at all?
Obviously the first thing they tell you is do not damage anything. Don't make mistakes. We need the information because I was obviously on a different tire than Oscar for most of the session. So there's a lot of information that needs to be learned from both cars, and that's the best approach to making a weekend good.
Are you in there helping with refining setup at all for Lando or anything?
Only in the FP1.
Okay.
Yeah, my say is only FP1, okay. And then he's got 7 years of experience in F1. So much more than me, but I give my feedback of what I thought was useful and better of what we tested,
okay.
And
So
I
they
think
don't necessarily like align your driving style with his. Obviously, they're two different things. So
I mean, it seems like with what we learn in FP1 then gets carried on into FP2, so forth. Yeah, no, for sure. It's not just let's see how this is. I mean, if it's better, then that's what goes into the analysis, and then usually stays on the car, and or if it wasn't good, go back to where we started.
how was it? Like getting back into an F1 car? Like, what does it feel like?
It feels great, man. I mean, it's nothing comes close to an F1 car in a road course. I mean, the way that it can brake and turn. I think I've been very not explosive, but I've said it so many times that it really is a wonder to drive and to be in. But yeah.
What's the first thing you notice? Like as soon as you leave pit lane?
The first thing I noticed was the queue of cars, and I was like, oh my god, where am I gonna do my burnouts before my race start? Yeah.
But it's not the essential speed. Is it the braking? Is it the cornering?
It's the change of direction.
Yeah.
Just change of direction. The high speed. The slow speed isn't shocking. The slow speed is kind of slippery, to be honest. It's not amazing, but the high speed is unbelievable.
Like going through that S section?
Yes, the
like
downforce, awesome. And the braking. Yeah. I would say braking and high speed takes the cake.
Yeah. So what are the plans for the rest of the rest of the F1 season for yourself? Like, are you going to every race?
I'm going to all the races where I'm obviously available and not testing. So I'll be going to Vegas, I'll be going to Abu Dhabi. I will not go to Brazil or Qatar. I will be testing TPC when Brazil happens, and then in Qatar I believe I will be home spending Thanksgiving with my family.
Got it. And then are you getting another FP session? Like, is one going to happen?
I would hope so. Hopefully Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Hasn't been confirmed, but yeah, hopefully that happens.
What do you make of all this? I mean, I remember doing an interview with you back in like 2019. You were just coming out of Super Formula, and you'd gotten your break with McLaren to get into IndyCar. I mean, did you ever expect like this? Like,
I mean, it's always been the dream, right?
Yeah.
Being in Formula One. I'm so happy in IndyCar. I mean, my main focus obviously has remained there, and that will continue to be home for the rest of my life to me, whether I take on a challenge in Formula One or not. I just think it's an amazing opportunity to get out of your comfort zone and like just keep on improving as a professional, as a driver. Like, I would love to see a lot of F1 guys coming to IndyCar, because it is a different discipline. It is very different, and a lot of the guys that have come from F1 struggle.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more crossover from guys coming from juniors into F1 versus F1 going back to, something that isn't globally renowned. But it doesn't get the attention and the respect that it should get IndyCar.
What do you think that struggle is for some of name names, I guess, for some F1 drivers who leave F1 and they make that switch to IndyCar? What do you see as the main underlying factor for a bit of the struggles? Because IndyCar it's a tough sport. Like,
I wouldn't say that's for all the F1 guys. I really do think like if Verstappen wanted to do like a race or something, I think he would. Yeah. I mean, that guy drives anything, and to me, it's very admirable how he is, because he not only is he, I believe, the most talented driver I've ever seen in a race car, but he also doesn't care, because when you're in F1, you're put on a pedestal, and obviously your stock will go down, or at least in the eyes of a lot of people, if you go to something that is seemed to be smaller and you don't do as well. I feel like there's been a little bit of that, maybe, or at least from what I've seen from some drivers wanting to go to IndyCar and then testing and seeing that it's not going to be that easy, and kind of, no, I'd much rather just take a sabbatical and maybe go back to F1. So I've always said that going out of your comfort zone is going to make you better. People will always have nice things and bad things to say, but I really do think it's quite special when you have these opportunities to do something that you're not used to doing. So, yeah.
It's like another tool in your tool belt kind of thing.
Yeah, always.
Right?
I mean, it's just another experience. It's more knowledge. It's more evolvement professionally as a person, and also you do end up seeing the good and bad sides of the sport. You know, because I mean, obviously F1 is in a massive stage, so the eyes that you get over here are way less over there. But I feel like a lot of people that talk down on IndyCar really are clueless, and their opinions are I don't know. I've always wondered, psychologically, like what do people have to be in order to like really talk down on people that are doing something that is to admire, and I see that a lot here in Formula One. Like all these guys, no one is bad, and all these guys are great drivers. In IndyCar, there's so many great drivers as well, and I know it's part of being entertainment and stuff like that, but it's quite sad to see what social media has gotten to, because you see these guys that are putting everything on the line every single weekend. Like, you really think they want to be doing bad if they're having a rough patch. So to me, it's been quite eye-opening, and it's been really sad to see how people just really want to talk down on anybody trying to go out of their comfort zone. And it's like, not even Superman will be able to do it on the first try. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many factors that play into it.
So much
and
learning.
There's so much learning that you do, and obviously that's why it kind of does turn into a bubble, because at the end of the day, none of us are robots, and we all have feelings. And at some point, sometimes, especially if it's been a long patch of roughness, you'll feel it a bit, and that's what it takes to be racing at a top tier. But yeah, to me, it I don't know. Some parts of it have definitely been very disappointing, because like, just being here is to admire, and all these guys that are here, doesn't matter if they got here paying or not, it's still to be admired, and like, they're still trying their best. So yeah,
I always said, like, you could probably take, like, especially now the way the IndyCar field is, you could take the top 20, put them in here, and they'll be just as competitive.
I say if you take the top, top 6-7 guys in IndyCar, with like top 12 here in Formula One, and that would be the best grid on the planet for sure.
Sure, 100%.
I mean, honestly though, but I don't even think that's fair, because I think there's so many good drivers in WEC, IMSA, but a lot of the times the opportunities didn't come about when they needed.
Oh, exactly.
In like even Formula E, I mean, there's some guys there that I know of, like they're such talented drivers. Like there really is. It's hard to say what would be the perfect 20 place grid, but I would definitely encourage people to, maybe admire before you
judge.
Before you start judging. And I'm not talking about myself, but I see a lot of it with obviously with my teammates here, or you've seen it with Verstappen, Hamilton. I mean, guys that got massive careers and huge curriculums to back up their hard work. Yet there's always something bad that is said, and it's kind of like, it's frustrating to see, even for me, that I am a racing driver, and I admire a lot of these guys as well. Just because you compete against them doesn't mean you can't respect and admire them, because it really is, it's a massive stage, and it's got what they say, the man in the arena.
Oh yeah, I don't know the
kind
full
of thing,
but I know what you're saying.
But it's kind of like that.
Yes.
But I'm super happy to be a part of these great experiences.
Last one for you. before we wrap up here, I want to ask about Colton Herta. I mean, obviously, getting the opportunity that he's getting, going into Formula 2 for next season. I mean, what do you think? Is going to Formula 2 the right road,
Formula
or TPC?
Formula 2 is obviously a downgrade, but he's not doing this to go to Formula 2. He's doing this to get to Formula 1. So you need to see it as how he's seeing it, and that is he's going to be in a Formula 1 seat in 2027. That's how I see it. And that is a way to get to know the tire a bit more, to get to know the tracks, which will be very valuable for him whenever he gets to F1. It's not going to be easy.
Pato, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, a couple of questions. One here from Noah. Do you think that Red Bull will be announcing Arvid Lindbald this week for Racing Bulls for next season? Because Campos, both Campos seats in F2 are already announced in 2026, and Campos is where he's racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about Lindblad going to Racing Bulls ad nauseum on this show, and I think we all know he's going there. When that announcement gets done, everybody, you guys will be the first to know.
Okay. Jeremy Pyatt asks, hey, Tim, why do you think there was zero mention on the live coverage of the marshals that were on the circuit while Liam Lawson was in the sector? Sky commentary did not mention it during race coverage.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So for those who, obviously had missed it online, there's a video circulating of Liam Lawson's onboard camera. And there's some marshals cleaning up like around the turn 3 area. And Lawson had come around turn 1, and there were marshals on the track, and he was there. They're very fortunate that didn't end in tears, because that could have been a serious accident. Really happy that no one was hurt. The reason we didn't see it on the broadcast, because I don't even think they knew it was happening. I don't even think they knew that it had happened. But the FIA did send me a note about that. Following a turn 1 incident, race control was informed that debris was present on the track at the apex of that corner on lap 3. Marshals were alerted and placed on standby to enter the track and recover the debris. Once all cars had passed turn 1, as soon as it became apparent that Lawson had pitted, the instructions to dispatch marshals were rescinded, and a double yellow flag was shown in that area. And they had gone on to say, we're still investigating what occurred after that point. So I think, from the FIA's standpoint, I mean, obviously they really respect and appreciate the professionalism and dedication of the marshals. But yeah, that is definitely something they're going to have to look into, Adam, because that could have been a really, really serious accident.
No kidding. Yeah. The radio call from Liam Lawson was pretty. He was pretty panicked, right? Like that's scary, man. Scary.
Yeah. He's lucky.
Okay. Well, yeah, very, very lucky. Now, we will be back later on. We haven't quite figured out what we're going to do in the interim week yet, but we're going to have some. We always do something fun. Tim, are you coming home for a bit, or are you heading out?
I'm at the airport right now, Adam.
Else. No,
I'm at the airport.
Is your plane ride home tonight?
No, it's not yet. Not yet. It is. Well, it's okay. So we're recording this. So it's midnight where you are. It's 10:15 p.m. where I am. My flight doesn't leave until 12:25 a.m. So I've got 2 hours, 20 minutes to kill, and I'm coming home. I land at 7 a.m., and I don't sleep on planes, really, so it's going to be a long day on Monday. But Adam and I will be back. I've got a guest that I'm trying to get in for us. Hopefully have them for next week for you and I to have a good conversation with. And we can dive a little bit more into the championship battle. We can dig up a little bit more, because I felt I left a little off the plate today, and it's hard to focus at this airport, man.
Well, dude, listen, it's the Michael Jordan flu game for you, buddy. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, right.
So Tim will be back, and look for her on Tim's Twitter and on mine. We'll announce when the next episode's coming out. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. As always, we appreciate you. And Tim, have a safe flight home, man.
Thanks, buddy.